call to order. Good evening. This is Tuesday, December 5th, 2023, a regular meeting of the Cabell County Board of Education. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mary, would you like to lead us, please?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll begin with special celebrations. Dr. Ashley Stevens, how are you this evening?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Good.
Hi, Dr.
Good.
Ashley.
Great to see you all. We have some coaches to celebrate, and then we also want to share an experience that we had and thank some collaborators that allowed us to create a really great experience for some of our students. So we're going to begin with Tony Shackelford, the MSAC Coach of the Year for Huntington High Women's Soccer. We are so excited. He was recognized by the Mountain State Athletic Conference as the Coach of the Year. His Lady Highlanders had an impressive 18-4-1 season, and we're so grateful for the time and effort and intention that he invests in our kids. Mr. Cunningham said Coach Shackelford did a wonderful job getting this year's team to buy into the program. They worked hard and developed throughout the season. We appreciate his hard work and dedication to Highlander soccer, and I'd like to invite him up to say a few words.
It was not all me. I'm blessed to be in my right mind to pick a good staff to make me look good. And I appreciate you guys recognizing me. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach.
Congratulations.
Additionally, we have Coach Luke Sammons, the MSAC Coach of the Year at Midland for football. Coach Sammons was recognized by the Mountain State Athletic Conference. In addition to this honor, he also led the Midland Knights to a fantastic 10-2 season, finishing first in the Mountain State Conference. Congratulations to Coach Sammons and the Midland Knights on a great season. His principal, Mr. Adkins, says we're proud of the dedication and hard work Coach Sammons, his staff, and student athletes put into this season. They had a remarkable year winning MSAC, and it was with his leadership that made this possible. Coach Sammons' impact on the lives of his athletes, both on and off the field, make him a tremendous asset to our school and community. And I would like to invite Coach Sammons up for a minute.
Thank you for having me. Thank you to my wife and my family. Got 4 boys of my own, and then close to 100 football players. So it's never a dull moment at my house or, on the football field. But love coaching, love my kids, love my school, and I'm blessed. And thank you for having me. And got good kids, make you a better coach. And I got good coaches around me. And winning the conference in soccer, football, any sport is a challenge. We've won it 5 times, and we've been blessed to do that. But this year was special. We had a good group of kids, and we love all of them. So thank you.
We'd like to recognize our collaborators for the Clay to Go exhibit. I know a lot of you guys were able to join us, or you've seen kind of some social media that we had around this exhibit. It was a mobile exhibit from the Clay Center. You guys are all familiar with, sort of their brand of interactive science that our kids love so much. And its maiden voyage was here in Cabell County with us. And because we can't do anything normally, we put it at the mall. Instead of at a high school, and instead of sending field trips, shortly, we sent big ones. In order to be able to work out the logistics of a full school bus and the amount of time and space that we had, we were able to invite our friends from the June Harless Center to come and supplement this activity. So not only did the kids get to play in the Clay Center's mobile exhibit, which was fantastic, they also had additional hands-on science activities with the June Harless Center. And we are so grateful to both groups for their collaboration. We were able to serve thousands of our students, all of our 4th and 5th grade students, and several of our students in lower grades. Additionally, we left it open on Friday and Saturday, 2 weekends in a row, as the mall was ramping up for the holiday season, so there was a lot of traffic. Santa Claus was even passing out flyers for Clay to Go. And Mr. Science was able to come down and participate. So we had lots of different integrations, and we saw just at 1,000 people during the public time as well. So we had kids coming back, bringing their parents, bringing their siblings, and they were leading them through the exhibit. So the learning element of it was fantastic. It was really rewarding to get to watch from our part. And I would like to first invite Al Najjar from the Clay Center to say a few words, and then we'll follow up with the Harless Center.
Thank you, Dr. Stevens, and thank you, Dr. Sachs, who is not here. I know you're not Dr. Sachs. What a pleasure to be hosted here and to also to have our maiden voyage here to Huntington. The Clay to Go exhibit is one of our key mission component to bring the Clay Center throughout the state, and not just to go for a one-day visit or just do a program, virtual program, but actually to have the exhibit as a resource and as a lab that remains in the county. We're actually right now in McDowell, but we weathered the storm. We came here for 3 weeks. That's our first 3 weeks. We could not dream of better hospitality and support from Cabell County Schools. Thank you so much for doing this. And to see almost 2,000 or 2,500 students, 3,000 people in total is really quite a remarkable achievement. We're really proud of the collaboration. We hope that we expand the collaboration. Dr. Sachs is now active with the Clay. As a matter of fact, I believe he's at the Clay Center right now for the Educational Alliance event. We want to expand that collaboration, work with you, and serve your student, and really make education better in West Virginia. Thank you so much again, and look forward to seeing you in the future.
Oh, thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Really appreciate it.
Good afternoon. I'm Jason Gibbs. I'm one of the science coordinators at the June Harless Center. Just to kind of echo the last message, we were so excited to collaborate with Cabell County Schools and the Clay Center on this endeavor. When the ask came, we realized this was kind of a departure from what we do. Most of the time, it's usually teacher-facing professional learning, and to get to interact with students and take out the VEX robots, the Spheros, and the straw rockets and get them to really dive in the time that we had was a fantastic day. So it was a bit of a marathon for those times, but seeing those kids and working with your students was absolutely fantastic. We enjoyed every moment. So we hope to collaborate more, and thank you for thinking of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President Smollett, may I make a
Yes, sir,
comment?
absolutely.
Just to the Harless Center and also the Clay Center. I went home after being up there for the day and actually went and bought my granddaughter a Spiro ball for her birthday. And her dad have been playing with it now for the last couple of weeks. And so it was a tremendous educational tool. And the kids, I mean, she's in the 3rd grade. And so it's been exciting for her. And she is learning now, and she's using it. She's actually doing a little programming with it. And so her and her dad are having a great time. So from a personal side of the house, thank you for a birthday idea for a 3rd grader, because I had nothing until that happened. So, but it was a great experience, and I can tell you from, again, there's at least one 3rd grader that's taken home the experience also. So appreciate you what you're doing.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely.
Can we go ahead? May we?
Yes, yes. chair? Ms. Watts?
Whoa. Good evening, President Smalley, Mr. Boggs, board members, and Ms. Myers. I am first going to give you a copy of a draft of our State of the Schools dates, very similar to last year, but you'll notice we'll start on January 22nd, which is the Monday after the Martin Luther King week holiday. And then we'll go on through to February 5th. We'll take the next week off because that Monday is a currently out-of-school environment day, and so the schools won't be in session, hopefully, unless the weather gets us. So then you'll see, then we'll finish through on March 11th if weather curtails, and that gives us a week before our spring break. And our goal is always to kind of get it finished before spring break hits. So if you'll look over this, my goal is to give this to the principals next Thursday. So if you have any questions, or if you'll just email me, and we'll make any changes that we need to. But I wanted to get you these dates. Pretty similar to last year. So now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Suzanne Stevens, our new special ed director, and she is going to talk to you about our Powerful Partners, and she has some very special guests.
Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Boggs, Ms. Myers, it's my pleasure to be able to talk about the Career Transition Program, or Career Exploration. Sometimes it's referred to as Transition to Work. So I have been over this program for many years since I was in a supervisory position. I've overseen this, and I have seen it grow over the years, and the excitement of the students over the years, and the powerful partners that we have brought in. Some we lost during COVID time, and we are now starting to regain some of those back, which are our nursing homes, and we're hoping to get back in with St. Mary's Hospital again. But we are slowly getting there with building those powerful partners back. The next slide that you have there shows that our business partnerships and our work-based opportunities provide students with training that they can use toward competitive employment upon their graduation. Our transition specialist, which I have here with me, which is Elizabeth Fuller from Huntington High School, and Aaron from Cabell Midland High School, and they'll talk to you all briefly here in just a few minutes. But they work closely with the counselors and other staff to determine which students would benefit from the hands-on training that they are provided in those work sites. The students are provided engaging and rigorous instruction. Job coaches do a training at the start of the year to become familiar with the students. They meet and greet with them. The coaches work on the students' communication skills, professionalism, occupational skills, and they troubleshoot any issues that we may have out in the job sites. Then our next slide just talks about, we have over 40 powerful partner work locations. We have that many, but we're not able to reach all of them at all times. We just don't have enough of the day to get out there to all of our powerful partners. Many local businesses, partners, and national chain outlets are some of our powerful partners. We have them from Culloden, clear to the west end of Huntington with our powerful partners. So we've got a wide spread of where they're at. We even have them coming here to the Board of Education to do shredding and deliver mail around to the offices. Some of our partnerships that we have is Marshall University. That's a big one for us because they go into the cafeteria area. They work with all of the little restaurant areas in there. They help for animals, Alcon. Like I said, we're picking up some of our nursing homes. We go into several Wendy's restaurants, and other businesses along. So our partnerships with businesses run, like I said, from Milton to the west end of Huntington. We have 11 job coaches that have worked with us for several years. They range from bus drivers who drive our special needs students to aides who have now retired and have come back to work as a job coach with us. And then plus we have Aaron and Elizabeth. So there's a total of 13 that go out with our students. The focus of the program is for students to enter the work field with skills to be successful. Again, we work on those communication skills. We work on employee conduct. We try to teach them the proper dress when they go out into the businesses, what different businesses will require over others. We work on on-site experience, and they gain job experience with peer relations and management. And again, like I said, the dress codes that different businesses will require of them. We are beginning, like I said, to be able to enter the nursing homes again since COVID hit. I would really like for us to reach out and try to gain St. Mary's back. I know that St. Mary's is still kind of strict with some of their rules and regulations of letting people in. But when we were there, we worked in the restaurant area, down in the laundry room, and different places, and they were a good job site to employ our students upon graduation. So that's why I really would like to get back into that site. The next slide you'll see there is just some of the pictures of students present and previous that have been in the job program or are in the job program and are out at those sites working. You'll see several of them in these pictures here have the Huntington High School t-shirts on. That's what they wear when they represent the school out into the job sites.
Pretty sure.
This page is the same. And it's the same with that one as well. And we have one more there of the different students out into the job locations. I can't get it to move forward. Okay. Then if you'll go to the businesses, see if it's, yeah, there we go. Aaron and Elizabeth, if you all want to come up and talk about some of the different businesses that we've got there as you all go out.
Hello.
Hi,
Yes.
welcome.
So these are some of the businesses that that are participating with us. You can see there's a variety from retail to food service. The Keaton's Auto Body, Alcon's a big one for us. It's something new that we started a couple years ago, and they really like our kids being there. And there's a variety of things and different jobs that they can do at Alcon. Goodwill's a good one for us too, and they actually pay our kids there, the minimum wage, but the kids get there a couple of times a week. That it adds up after a little while. And Keaton's Collision Center is also a great one for us too. Our kids can do some desk work in the front, secretarial work, but they also go in the back and they actually buff out fenders in the cars and detail some cars and things like that. Yep, and we picked up Buff City soap recently, and our kids can go in there and they actually make the products. They make the soap, they make the lotions, and then the kids get to take it home with them.
A lot of these, Huntington High School goes to.
If you could talk in the microphone.
A lot of these Huntington High School goes to, and Pet Palace, they feed the animals and clean the cages and things like that. Save-A-Lot is really great too. They're all very, very good to us, but Burger King, they have to wear the full Burger King uniform with their hat and everything. Same thing for Wendy's and Subway. Doubletree Hotel and also Hampton Inn. We do everything from the laundry, folding the towels, to also cleaning. They go with a partner and they clean the rooms that the people are staying in. by a partner, I mean an employee that works there. And Marshall University, we do everything at Marshall University. And many of the previous kids that have graduated from there work at Marshall University in the Harless Dining Hall, so it's really exciting. They get to see each other there. Also, we do a lot of prep work in the back, and then we also work out in the front, clean and things like that, and then we work in all the areas, making the sandwiches and things like that, serving the students. So they get a kind of a taste of college life by seeing the college kids and things without necessarily being in college.
And I will also say that they work within their own buildings before they take them out to job sites. Some of the things that they do go around there and do is in the cafeteria. They'll take them and they'll do some prep work in there. Some of the food pantry, they work in the food pantry at both the high schools. And do y'all do other things? Pro Start, they work in there with them. So they do, you know, before they take them out into the job sites, they'll start them within the building and do job skills there with them. So as part of the future of our program, we want to, again, like I said, build new powerful partnerships. We'd like to gain some of those back that we lost during COVID time. Think about work experience within the school setting, because we do some things, but I know there's other things that we could probably reach out to and do. Addressing transition and work-related skills during current health concerns. Pathways to the future at pathwayswestvirginia.org. Guidepost to graduation, which is now taken over Graduation 2020. It's now Guidepost to Graduation. There they'll work on, especially through the IEP, with transition goals that will correlate with what they're doing out into the program, going out to the job sites. And then working with transition with middle school students, those 8th graders that will be transitioning up to the 9th grade. So, okay.
Any questions? Yeah, Mr. Miller?
How many students are actually participating? Just, I mean,
You have 22. Okay.
25, so close to 50 students.
Yes.
Yeah. So next question too is, you mentioned talking about getting partnerships. What can we as a board help you or assist you or do to help you get these partnerships back? Is there anything that we can do? Because I'm curious about that.
Write
Is
a
there
letter or something?
Yeah.
and-
We go out at the end of every year, and even during the year, they'll try to gain access back into some of these businesses. They have to go through their corporate offices before, you know, they'll allow us to do that. Like I said, some of the businesses still are held tight to COVID regulations. Even though they've loosened up some, they are still held tight to those, so they're not allowing us back in. Some of them we just lost altogether, but the nursing homes were one of the places that I know the patients there love to see the kids come in. I mean, they just brightened their day to have those kids come in there. So to gain one of those back this year, you know, was exciting for me to hear that. As far as board members, I don't know that, I mean, sure, a letter would be great and would be nice, and we could supply you with the places that we would like to get back into. We'd be happy to do that, okay?
President Smalley, I think that's something that we
Yeah.
really ought to consider,
Agreed.
you know, in doing that, whatever we can do
If
to
you
help
could do
support the
that.
program, so.
Okay,
You send them to us?
Send it, yes.
all right, we'll send you those,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
Uh-huh. And that's it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Great information.
Yes, very good.
No, so we'll just get you a list of what she's trying to work to get back into,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay.
We could all
That
co-sign it.
concludes our presentation.
Thank you, Mrs. Watts. All right, and moving on to operations and support. I think you'll be doing double duty tonight. Mrs.
Yes, ma'am.
Boggs.
Yes, ma'am. Madam President and board members, I am going to go ahead and give my update from up here. I do want to say something about Ms. Stevens and the Career Transition Program. I've actually been able, when I worked at Cabell Midland, or actually just on lunch break, have been over to Advanced Auto Parts and been able to speak to some of those students that I was getting some parts for my truck on lunch break one day and was able to speak to those students, and just that on the job training and ability to really interact with customers and stuff like that. There's a lot of pride that takes place in that. So it's really good to be able to see those students out and gaining that real world experience for future employment. So I know that they do a wonderful job with that. So I was not here at the last board meeting, but I did give a virtual update, I guess, regarding that. So I do have several things to go over. So on the first page that Jason has pulled up for us is Altizer Elementary, and what we're looking at there is this is the addition that was made at Altizer Elementary where the portables were at, and they are laying brick right there right now. So crews are also working on the water retention system. If you were to go by the front of the building, you would see some soil moved in that area. I believe they've got that covered back up. The old window units have been removed, and they've got what they call barred units, essentially a large window unit, energy efficient. Those are up and running. They are working right now. They still need to be balanced, but they are working nicely, very quiet. The teachers are very satisfied with that. And then again, the picture you see here are the bricklayers laying up on the exterior of that addition on the building. And feel free to stop me at any time if you have any additional questions. Over at Village of Barbersville, if you were to drive by the old house that we purchased last year, that is a picture of the demolition that occurred on that house and that structure that has been removed. So that's a picture of that. The special education restrooms, that the work that has been done, those restrooms are nearly complete. Actually, as of today, we had a meeting with ESG. The restrooms are functional. We just need to work on a little door locks and different things like that, just minor punch list things regarding the restrooms. The flooring is complete in the school as well. So that progress is going along nicely. This is something we're very excited about, is the Meadows Elementary new location. Our DEP permit has been approved. That was approved last week. Work has started. They are already working at the site right now. Neighborgall Construction is doing that. We are in the process of setting up regular scheduled bi-monthly meetings to really coordinate with the architects and Neighborgall Construction. And so that's been a long time waiting to get that project started.
Mr. Ball,
Yes, sir.
What's the, I mean, we've had a sort of a delay here, but what's the anticipated completion of Meadows? Do you remember what that
It's
is?
approximately 16 to 18 months
from
on that.
To date?
Yes, sir.
Basically. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And obviously pending weather and different things like that. So on to Davis Creek Elementary. The picture you see there on the upper left-hand corner is they do have nearly all the walls up. The windows have been boarded up so they can kind of be working in the dry to be able to heat the building, to be able to work on the interior in particular areas. The structural steel is set. The crews are still moving other materials at one site from this, and much of the building is in the dry. A lot of the roof has been completed onto that. So definitely moving along. The weather has been overall pretty good for a lot of these construction sites for winter right now. So on to Milton Elementary. The structural steel, we were waiting on that. You do see that the structural steel is in that picture. I've got a crane there laying some of that structural steel. The multi-purpose, which is the gym, cafeteria, auditorium area, that is completely in the dry. A lot of the rough plumbing work has started in particular areas that they've been able to do that. Roofing material, if you drive around the back side of the building right now, you would see the roofing material is on pallets back there. So they're starting to install that. And interior walls are continuing to go up. We don't have all the structural steel, but it's not been able to. They've been able to pick up the pace with some of those things. So they've been able to kind of work around some of those as well. So on to the Cabell Midland High School turf. The softball field is turfed. I don't know that it's like turnkey yet, but they were putting the sand in it. And the rubber and everything. If you go to the parking lot at Cabell Midland, you will see big
huge
vinyl
bags.
pallets, and that's
Yeah.
the rubber that goes into that. So they of course sift that into the field. The baseball field, these pictures were taken last week. The baseball field is in the upper left-hand corner. They have been laser grading that, and according to the scope of work and the information we received this week, they will be, hopefully by maybe as early as tomorrow, be laying turf on the baseball field as well. So the crews are doing a great job on that as well. So on to the Cabell County Career and Technical Center. That is a big pile of wire demolition that they continue to do right now. But they are continuing to demo plumbing, electrical, and HVAC. The escalator that would used to go upstairs, that is getting ready to be removed, hopefully this week. And crews are cutting floors, or really scoring the floors to where they can prepare for the footers to be able to be, but they're only doing it in small sections. That way they can, tear up a small section, pour the footers, and then start the walls up there, so they still have a flat surface to work on, and it's not, just kind of parsed up throughout the entire building. So, and things are really starting to mobilize there as well. So on to Huntington High School. This is a picture of, this was 11/29/23, of the restroom in the gym concourse area. That is the restroom there. They're grouting that. The plumbing is in, moving along nicely. They are really set to those restrooms should be turned over to the school later this week, but also are, and I'm sure Mr. Cunningham and his administrative staff and secretaries, they are now officially into the gym concourse office space right now. So we've still got some punch list items to do, take care of at that area, but they are in that location. So it's been a long time. They've had assistant principals in closets and everything else the last few months. So this is something that we wanted to bring to your attention on here, and there's been some talk around the Huntington High School Emergency Access Road update. And then in this presentation, you're actually going to see, I believe on the last 2 pages, if not, I can definitely provide it to you, blown up pictures of this so you can see it a little better. But this is an aerial picture that you're looking at right here of Huntington High School. And there's been talk about, we always, want to prepare for emergency situations and look at different options we can to make our schools as safe as possible. But this is the ZMM, in which we actually have Dave Ferguson down here as well, if there's any additional questions for this, is an overlay of a possible place that an access road could go. So you can see on the left-hand side there, it is kind of a smaller picture, but Jason, if you want to go ahead and go on to the next page, you can see a picture up there on your screen a little better. And you can see where it comes in behind the visitor side of the football field, and then it goes all the way, it kind of snakes around the end zone and then comes out. And Jason, if you want to go to the next page, and it's maybe you're going to see another picture as well. And this one's just from Google Earth, and I drew a red line in there so you can kind of see that in relation to the school. But it actually comes out on, or the proposal was to come out on Bryn Mawr Drive, and then would connect into Norway Avenue back there. So that's just so you have kind of a relation of where the proposed, where it could possibly be. Jason, if you don't care to go back 2 slides, and so the information that I've got up here is the concerns that were brought up is a lack of an emergency access road in the event of emergency. As you know, it's a very long, almost a mile long from the entrance off Hal Greer all the way up to the top at Huntington High School. And this would allow for emergency reasons, that if there was any reason that we needed to be able to get emergency services, fire trucks, different things like that, up to Huntington High School, there would be a back exit into that. Of course, we've got a lot of students at Huntington High School, and a lot of times when there's emergencies occur, there is gridlock. A lot of people want to go right to the scene of something like that. So the initial cost estimates, and I'll have Ms. Ferguson come up here and explain this here in a moment, is $2.2 million is the proposed cost of this right now. So about $1.7 million in construction and $477,000 in geotechnical testing, permits, and contingency for that. Mr. Ferguson is, I'm going to let him come up here for just a minute if you want to, if there's anything you want to add into that based on the research and kind of proposal from this.
Sure. We looked into that and trying to keep with the contours of the existing site. Now, we don't have a full-blown survey. We're just going off of what's on the internet, and they're pretty close. The issue is, right now, we're trying not to do any retaining walls. We're trying to follow the contours. And we don't have any soil boring, so the cost could be less or maybe a little bit more. It's a little conservative cost estimate, just because we don't know what, there's some unknowns, because we're not really started any, construction drawings for that. And we actually had a contractor price what the design was. So it's a conservative estimate, but it's relatively accurate. We think it's doable and less than some other options that you may have with retaining walls and drainage ditches and all that sort of thing. So it seems to be a more feasible option to get off the hill. Any questions?
Does it affect any homes at all?
No,
As we
ma'am.
doesn't affect anybody's home?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson.
So really the question is this something that the board would want to, of course, we have to update our comprehensive educational facilities planning plan annually. And we can, if this is the wish of the board, it doesn't necessarily mean that it would occur immediately or anything, but if this is something that you want to add, or the wish of the board to be able to, possibly pursue that, that is an option that you have, is to be able to add that to the CEFP if you all want to have further discussion or more information regarding something like that.
Mr.
Mr.
Boggs,
Miller?
I'm assuming if it's in the it has to be in the CEFP in order to compete for funding, I assume, from the school board.
That is correct, yes.
So it has to be included in there before you could actually go and apply for, for funding from that, through that particular source. So I think it's, you almost have to put it in there if you want to go down that avenue of at least putting it there for funding from the state level, correct?
Yes, and we actually just updated it, but it can be updated at any time. It's just annually you are required by state code to be able to update that CEFP, but it can still be going in and amend something like that to put it in that, projected, projects that you would like to do down the road.
Okay. And if we amend it, then we would need to report that.
We would, yeah. It goes into the reporting system in the WVEIS, really, just to the Department of Ed, and then that would be a possible project for down the road.
All right. So, I don't know that, how do we would be prepared to
This is just informational
motions
items at this
tonight.
point.
Okay, I was thinking, we would need some input from Mr. Pauly and a little discussion time,
Yeah,
so
before we-
could be put on the next agenda perhaps?
And any additional information, we can definitely work with Mr. Ferguson, provide any additional information, or if any questions, feel free to reach out, and I will make sure that we get those answered.
This is very thorough and very well done, as usual.
One quick question also.
Yes, sir.
Has this been coordinated with the county EMS?
They are aware of that, and I know Mr. Cooper, when he was assistant superintendent, would go to the emergency homeland security meetings. This was actually brought up. They knew that we'd be presenting on this today, and it's been brought up multiple times. And there's been, people that have come to board members and have talked about this access road. So they are aware of that, and it's something that we are looking into at this time.
I'm just primarily just about the, about the potential layout here and where it drops down in. Has that been discussed with?
I don't think, we just got the overlay last week. There were several different, people had looked at different things, but this is the first one, and they have not received this overlay as of yet.
Because there was concerns before because of community impact or something like that coming down those homes, and this particular layout appears to get around that.
Doesn't
Now,
affect those
it's probably
homes.
more
Yeah.
expensive, but that's the trade-off that you would end up having to look at here. So that's the reason I was asking the question, if that's been vetted yet, which it probably is not. But, okay.
It's not.
So that would be another step that we'll have to do,
We'd have
vet
to
that with, 911 group or EMS group or whatever.
There's a lot of different things to look at. When we looked at, other possibilities, you've got to look at the, how wide the road is.
Yeah.
If it's split up, you want to be able to get a fire truck, an EMS, vehicle, emergency vehicle into all those areas. So there's a lot of things to consider in such a big investment and project.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much for that.
I'm going to go on to, Jason, if you don't care to go to the salt shed and spreader rack. The salt shed that you see here, the actual, if you drive by 64, look up the Career Center, the current Career Center, you're going to see the salt shed is complete. We have moved the salt from down here on 29th Street up to that location. We are ready for winter. We've got our salt. The concrete has been poured for the spreader rack, and as I said, the salt has already been moved. So we just need to do the racks for the dump trucks and everything. Next slide, construction change orders. We have none this week. As far as substitute professional update, I did want to go ahead and give you, going into the second half or the second semester, right now, these are just some numbers of current job openings right now. We've got 7 elementary positions open, 5 middle school. I believe I left a number out of there, but it's like 1 or 2 high school positions. And we've got, I think, 11 or 13, I apologize for leaving that out, on special education positions that are open right now. Did talk to Debbie Smith. She does a great job of staying on top of these as well. And I will get you the updated numbers. I left some off there. I apologize. And, as Debbie said, we've got several employees in the GROW program and those alternative certification areas. And we do believe that majority of these will be filled in the coming weeks. So we're actually looking pretty good at that. The next page is really our substitute service personnel update. You see on the left hand side, as far as aides, cooks, custodians, secretary. Looking down from that, those are the numbers on the left hand side. Like under aides, you're going to see there are 45 active aides available that for day-to-day substitute, and there are 10 retired available on that. So that's really, on the left-hand side, the 45 is active, the 10 is retired. You can look on down through cooks and custodians and secretaries. There are several jobs that are going to be posted coming tomorrow, and by talking to the service personnel office, they do believe that the majority of these will be filled after the next couple postings on that. So it's always a struggle to get substitutes, but we're actually in pretty good shape, and those offices are working extremely hard to make sure we get all those positions filled. There is a one policy update today that's up for a second reading, and that is 2430.02, and that is participation in extracurricular activities. There is a copy of that in your board agenda. I do apologize. I know this was a very lengthy update, but I did have a lot to update you on as far as operations go. And that concludes my update, Ms. Smalley.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think you did a great
That was-
job on
yeah,
that.
Absolutely, and
Yeah,
that's
I
all
do.
very important information. You know,
Yeah.
We want to hear these things. Are you communicating from the superintendent?
I am going to read the communication on behalf of Dr. Sachs, being absent today.
Okay.
So I do believe you have a copy of his update in here. So the first section here is looking at Santa's Workshop at Culloden Elementary School. It says this year marks the 13th anniversary for Culloden Elementary Santa's Workshop. Stacy Young Isa, which is a parent partner, shops all year round to make this event extra special. Students can purchase gifts marked between $1 and $5 that are wrapped by the staff to take home. This beloved tradition in the school community spreads joy and holiday spirit year after year. So you definitely see some happy students in the pictures there as well. Below that, it's Culloden Elementary Literature Fair that many of our schools participate in. But this is our amazing students wowed us with they use their fantastic book presentations and creative outfits that perfectly match their chosen books. The level of enthusiasm and dedication these students displayed was truly impressive. Each presentation was a testament to their hard work and passion for reading. And I do encourage anytime that you get a chance to go see one of these literature fairs, students do a wonderful job, and they are very proud of the work that they do. The First Stage Theater Company last week, they did a performance down here at in the auditorium just across the hall. And it was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and the First Stage Theater performed that heartwarming tale of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to our amazing elementary school students. The atmosphere was electrifying as the students were on the edge of their seats and captivated by the enchanting performances. So you see some pictures of that, and they did a wonderful job with that as well. So on down to Milton Middle School, there was a holiday jazz extravaganza at Milton Middle School. Students got into the holiday spirit as Marshall University Jazz Band visited Milton Middle School during their lunch rotations. The talented musicians filled Milton Middle School with the festive sounds of jazz, bringing joy and cheer to the students, to our students at lunchtime. So we appreciate Marshall University being able to partner with us and provide that to the students. So several upcoming events and a lot of things going on in the month of December that Dr. Sachs wanted to inform you of, and that is Cabell Midland High School Orchestra Concert, which is going to be December 5th at the Cabell Midland High School Auditorium at 7 p.m. There's also the Cabell Midland High School Collegium 30th Annual Christmas Madrigal Dinner, which is at Cabell Midland High School cafeteria. The doors open at 6:30 p.m. and dinner and performance at 7 p.m. They do a wonderful job if you've ever had the opportunity to be able to see them, and they actually performed for, was it Milton Elementary yesterday, Ms. Watts, who they performed for? And then they've got the, on December 15th, Huntington High Theater Christmas Variety Show, which is the auditorium at 7 p.m. And finally, on December 16th, the Huntington High School Breakfast with Santa at the Huntington High Cafeteria from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So that concludes the superintendent's update for Dr. Sachs.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate getting these dates of events and so forth well in advance, because we really like to get out and attend these things, especially like going to the concert. I just love it. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're ready for delegations to be heard. Do we have any tonight? I suspect
We do. We got Maxine Yegi.
Yes, ma'am.
I apologize.
That's okay. I've been here so much by this time.
Yeah, I'm
that
not
you
gonna
guys
read that.
knew you come to tea at my house. Okay. So my name is Maxine Yeaget, 3126 Ferguson Road. So you know what I'm going to talk about. I was very disappointed to see that you all are appealing the ruling of the judge, but I am not surprised. Since coming here, I have seen examples of several blunders that have occurred. Incidences where the school administration has not followed policies and ignored important issues. The example that really struck me was the fiasco at Davis Elementary. I believe that the board itself was not aware, I hope, to the extent that the problems at Davis Elementary. But this is an example of poor management and should be noted by you. So now you're doing it again. You're spending money on lawyers the school system can ill afford, and what's going to happen now? You can fight the ruling and maybe you'll win. Then you'll lose the levy. And having spent a good quantity of our money on lawyers, or you can always accept the ruling and get to work with us. I think you don't think the levy will fail. I think that generally you are all well-meaning people, but I think you got bad advice. Maybe you think you can't back down, but that's obstinance or maybe embarrassment. Maybe some of you are rethinking your position. I don't know. We have very little to lose that you haven't already taken away, but you have everything to lose. It's not too late to work with us. It's not too late to follow the course of action which is the most moral and the most correct. In closing, I'd like to leave you with the words of a man much smarter than I. Walter Cronkite said, "Whatever the cost of our libraries, it is cheap compared to the cost of an ignorant nation." Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. All right, so we're ready for section 3,000. Board member comments? Okay, we have nothing tonight. Workshop requests?
I think we still had one that Johnny.
On the table, yeah. that
For
should
the
happen
school
at-
resource.
Yeah, it should
Yeah.
happen at the next work session.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that you would wish to pull for discussion or questions? The school buses, and Mr. Boggs has covered that section fairly well for us, so I have nothing. Anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion to accept that series.
So moved.
All right, Mrs. Bond makes the motion to accept the 4,000 series.
Second.
And Mrs. Neely has seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. All right, let's move on. We have no financial items tonight. So we will move to personnel. And in this section, do we have any items you would like to discuss or vote on separately?
I didn't have any.
Nothing?
I move that we accept item 6 of the agenda as recommended.
All right, Mrs. Neely makes the motion to
Second.
accept section 6 as presented. Mr. Miller has seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Section 7, special board items. All right, this is the extended
You have
section
one.
of student expulsions. We all had the information ahead of time. And I know all of you spent a good deal of time reviewing that. Do we have any questions that could be asked publicly? And if, okay, we do not. So we will not need to go in executive session then. However, I will ask, do you want to accept all of these as one vote? Or do we want to vote separately?
I'd prefer
What's-
to do it in one, if we
All
can,
right.
but
Make that motion, please.
I make the motion that we are gonna vote on the 7,000 series as a whole.
Yes,
Is that,
ma'am.
I make a motion that we vote on the 7,000 series in a whole.
All right. We have a second from Mr. Miller. That was Mrs. Bond made the motion, Mr. Miller seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now I need a motion to accept
The 7,000.
that section.
So moved.
All
Second.
right.
Make that motion.
All right, Mr. Miller has made the motion. Mr. Miller made the motion, and Mrs. Neely has seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, that section is passed unanimously. All right. That's long, isn't it?
I may fall out of this chair.
All right, next is section 8, discussion. This is where potentially we'll have an update on current legal issues. We may elect to go into executive session and, thank you, ma'am. All right. We do not have any updates
Okay,
tonight. So,
fair enough.
closing items. Any comments or anything needs to be made? If not, I will
I
ask for.
move that we adjourn.
All right, Mrs. Neely makes the motion that we adjourn,
I'll second.
and Mrs. Bond has seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
But motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned. Good evening.
Good evening, and that was a quick one.
Boggs?